Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Christelle Martinette, and I'm here with a scrying session for the full moon on the 20th of July. And I have my traveling crystals, like I always say, and it's finally come, it's finally here, this full moon. Mary, who's afraid of the full moon? And it's been really, causing so many. I'm laughing, but I'm either that or I cry because it's really reaping a lot of victims in energetic terms, because it has undermined a lot of our, a lot of our plans, our ideas, and all of a sudden you're starting to feel a bit alone. We are starting to feel a bit alone, as if all of our plans have gone awry. We did, and we planned, and for some reason we have that little bit of it's almost as if we have wee bit amount of fear that that is sort of telling us, well, it's not going as planned. It's not what we thought. We're not. Things are not coming to fruition as we expected. And of course, there is that element of surprise. And this is crystal quartz, and the collective that I saw days ago, it's sort of giving way to pairs, to threes, to 2 and 3s, people together, small groups being together, and there's a lot of uncertainty, It was almost more grounded days ago, because it seemed as if there was some common element to the energy around, and we were in the same boat. Okay, all of a sudden now we're starting to see that there's a bit of dispersion. There's a bit of dispersion whereby you don't feel flanked by, you don't feel supported by the person next to you, or parts of the masses. You sort of start to feel that bit of unease, the unease that comes with the feeling that something up ahead is going to surprise you, or you may not be ready for, or I've waited so long and now what is going to happen, this sort of fear. Okay, there's sort of, it's giving way to a sense of fear that being together as part of a collective is giving way to some sort of fear. And this is a moonstone. It's always so talkative, this moonstone. And it's reciting sort of a ritual of staying within, coming within, staying close to home, as if, the best, everything will go away. If we stay close, everything will return to how it used to be. If we don't go far away, we'll be with people we know. There's the idea of being closer to home, or closer to people and trying to avoid the unknown. And this as we go, well, we're going through this moon, whether we like it or not. Okay, there is this full moon, and there is this moving forward very, very slowly because of fear. Okay, and we know, we just feel like, okay, maybe it may not be this moon, you know, it may be the following moon. How many moons? You know, you ask yourself, well, how many moons? What will it take for me to be courageous enough, bold, you know? Fortune favors the bold. And when can I feel bold enough to then not be afraid of even just the uncertainty, that element of surprise that will undoubtedly come through, because that's what life is, you know? And this is aquamarine. There's sort of greenery and, you know, all of the symbolism that pertains to the color green, creativity, nurturing birth, you know, but it's at a distance, and from this point to that symbolism and that abundance, there seems to be a huge gap that we need to leap across in order to get there. At least in our minds, this is the way it seems, that there's such a huge, huge gap that we have to, you know, we have to cross, we have to go over. And it seems almost unsurmountable. And then you start asking yourself, how many moons? How many moons yet still have to pass before the other is bold enough to draw near, you know? It's like a dance of safety. I'm going to call it the safety dance. You know, you're taking 2 steps forward, the person retreats, and then you retreat and the person comes forward. So it's almost a dance of people without partners, because there's never any touch. You're going forward, you're going back, you're going forward, you're going back. I had that feeling today. There was a woman I bumped into, a childhood friend actually, in this small village, and she asked, my computer every now and then switches off, and I was saying I had bumped into a childhood friend, and she was starting to ask about the family and starting to ask questions, and I got the impression that she just wanted to pump me for information. And I took both my hands and I put them on her shoulders, as if to say, please don't worry, you know, everything will be okay. And as I drew near, just when I was ready to touch her, she shook. She was afraid. She dropped her bag, she dropped her purse. And I said, oh, please, I'm sorry, you know, I have this bad habit of touching people, you know. And it reminded me of what happens to people when they become, in later years, when they become isolated and when there's fear of being close enough to touch people. And this is what I'm talking about, you know, this dance of coming close and going away, coming close and being away. And you ask yourself, well, how many moons will pass when there may be a common dance floor, you know? It's quite interesting to not to see, but to perceive as such, as energy that retreats, you know? There's a moving forward and then there's a retreat. But see, there's this feeling of being alone in your oneness. You know, there are people out there. You know that there's other people who are similar to you in many respects. You know that there is a movement that will inevitably thrust you forward, and the show will go on. You know that the show will go on. This is not someone who will cut off their ear or slit their wrists, You say to yourself, and I will be going forward. I will be going forward. And, but when you're in the heat of it, really, this is peridot, when you're in the heat of it, and you are fully aware of all the shadows, of all the fear, of all, what is not coming up. What have I missed? What am I doing wrong? Why is there this feeling, And it contrasts. I didn't expect this too. This last 3 days ago, I don't remember when I did the pre-full moon, there was a message that came up, and I was saying to myself, I didn't expect to see that, and I didn't expect to see this, this touch of loneliness and the fear. There was a moment today, it was about maybe 4 o'clock in the afternoon, where the sun was not going down. It was really strong sun, dry. It was beautiful, beautiful weather. And I was walking, and I had the sensation that I was so grounded in my steps, and the every step that I took, I felt a string on the top of my head, as if my feet were going in the ground and being grounded, and my head was being pulled up in aligning my entire skeleton, and this happened for about maybe 2 minutes, and then I regained, and I thought, wow, that was fantastic. And then I started walking again, and then I would lose, I would start drifting with my mind, and then again I would have that sensation of being so grounded, And so when I came into this scrying session tonight, I was expecting to see something that would allow us to walk then, the moon. The full moon would be getting us to walk. And I'm trying to link the dots, I'm trying to link the message of being alone and that fear with walking, in unison. And there's just a missing link, I feel. There's a missing link. I could look for something else, and by far I think it is the aquamarine that is giving me with this beautiful, the color. The aquamarine is just so soothing, and it is that soothing message that is coming forward. It does emerge, and if I look at the peridot as well, there's just so much harmony, and what is the interesting point of the emerging message is that harmony arrives when there is an even gait, and when you're not consciously thinking, oh my goodness, my feet, they're going into the ground, and my head is being pulled up by a string. When you're not thinking that, but when you're harmoniously walking in that manner, and what happens and what occurs is so natural that you'll probably wonder, my goodness, how come this didn't happen before? This is harmony. This is harmony. And it's as if we need to convince ourselves that there's a moment when we are the chosen one. It's our time to be harmonious. It's our moment to feel the freedom of drifting through the element of time and space, which are collapsed. And you're thinking, well, okay, my awareness is allowing me to put one foot forward and the other after that. But it's not allowing me to take stock of, the surroundings and who is walking next to me. So I'm seeing this full moon as a very cautious, very cautious moment. A touch of fear, just like the recipes, a pinch of salt, a pinch of fear, just so that will spur your survival mode when you need it. And then that perception, that acknowledgement, that every third step, every fifth step, every ninth step, you will be rewarded the freedom to be grounded and risen. You know, your skeleton will rise, and your you know what ballerinas do in ballet. We are taught that you ground, and in all forms of dance really, but ballet, even tango, Argentine tango, we're taught that you get energy from the ground. You put your feet planted in the ground, your energy comes from there. And at the same time, your whole body is pulled by a string from the crown of your head. And it's such a lovely sensation of balance and harmony that it's almost an oxymoron thinking that you can put your feet into the ground and be so grounded and at the same time be light. And I think this is a necessary passage. What I'm seeing is that this full moon is a rite of passage. In the sense that we need to go through the motions and be one step at a time in order to become again bonded to those next to us, because we're going through the same experience. And this reminds me of so many times when you think, and all of a sudden you feel, you're feeling that person next to you. You know how you're just feeling either their joy, you're feeling their pain, you're feeling their breathing, and this is the nature of what I'm speaking about, and it's not necessarily linked to one person or a person, but it's a sensation at times that there is another soul that you can feel breathing, and that sensation of breathing and breathing at the same time, it's so sensuous. It's so sensuous and so strong, it's so strong, powerful, and it's such a strong bond. And I believe that the message here is that the fear dispels when we remember the bond. And we just have to remember that bond. I hope, ladies and gentlemen, that this full moon is a benevolent one, and that it will bring memories of when we were bonded and times ahead when we will be bonded once again. Namaste, ladies and gentlemen. It was a pleasure for me to scry with you. Till we scry again. Bye-bye.